to make a little more fun question here. The new president in the US doesn't like CBDC. This is a fun question. Can you clarify? I think he means something else. Central banks around the world are focused on CBDCs. What will happen to all the projects?
Yeah, there was a lot of interest, talk, hype, whatever, right, about CBDC. I think a lot of it was, the hype at least, was focused on the retail CBDC space. And a lot of that hype has not played out because despite all the pilots, and we did them too, we were quite active in the CBD space for quite a while, and we did a retail pilot for which we finished up previously. We haven't seen any.
I think he meant
implementation.
Retail CBDC, not the wholesale.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I think, because, again, of privacy and whatnot, concerns and whatnot. But I think, again, getting back to your point about, the focus on his focus on, or actually his, but the people's concerns about CBDC focus more on the retail side, one. But and you also have not seen any kind of real implementation of CBDC. And I think there are good reasons for that, aside from the privacy considerations, and that is that the use case is not entirely clear. If you look, particularly in ASEAN, where I think we've done a terrific job, right, in the fast payment space, we have very good retail payments infrastructure already. The digital payments on the retail works very, very well. So the additional benefit of having retail CBDC is not entirely clear. Put very simply, it's like there's a high bar for you to overcome. And so I think that combination of not having a very clear use case, plus the concerns that people have, like on the privacy and whatnot, have caused, I think, a healthy skepticism about when we're likely, if we're likely to see stuff happen in terms of a full production rollout of retail CBDC. That is different. I know this is probably...
That's what President is talking
about. That is different from wholesale.
Yes.
Wholesale CBDC. I think we at the Bank of Thailand, I think probably other central banks think the same way, that the use case for CBDC are much clearer, and also that the downsides and the risks of wholesale CBDC are also much lower. So again, a much more compelling case for taking wholesale CBDC to production.
Okay.
So for us, for example, one thing that we've been playing around the wholesale CBDC.
Sorry, Governor, just to answer the question also, why central banks have not put production grade wholesale CBDC yet, despite 5 years of experiments?
Partly, again, it's because the stuff that's already there is working reasonably well, right?
Okay.
And so
the wholesale CBDC.
No. For the wholesale CBDC, yeah, both. But again, it gets back to this. Let's get back to the use case, right? So one use case which we're looking at, and we see a very clear use case for wholesale CBDC, where there's a very, very clear pain point, is in cross-border transfers, right? The correspondent banking network is very expensive, high settlement risks, right? Takes a long time, and so one project we've been involved in is mBridge, which we've been working with several other central banks, and that involves wholesale BDC, and in that project we've seen that it can reduce the settlement times from days, 3-4 days, to literally minutes. There's no settlement risk. The visibility, transparency, very, very clear. So I think the benefits of that are very, very clear. So that's an example, again, I think of a use of wholesale CBDC that has a clear use case, and the risks and the downsides are not that high. So that's something that we're looking,
So you're going to
take
put up
forward
production shortly?
To MVP. Yeah, we're moving ahead with that and hope to see a minimal viable.
Any timeline? No.
It's under
consideration.
Under consideration.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm used to that response. So, but I think there is a need to a time has come to put wholesale CBDC to production. I think most central banks are comfortable with the idea.
Yeah.
They understand the use case.
Yeah.
We just have to get over that.
Yeah, and there are a lot of innovations, I think, that will be facilitated by having a wholesale CBDC infrastructure in place.
Okay.